I just want to get right up in there for him, you know?
Right? I'm just like, hey, we're going to do a little...
You listen to 102.8.
The whale.
The boner.
Well, no, that's not... I was going for more of a sultry.
Me too.
Sorry,
You're listening to Boner and the Beast right here.
Man, eventually that will become a dated... Like, no one's going to know what the fuck that reference is, right? Who listens to radio anymore?
What was your town's
every now and then?
gross? Ours was called Free Beer and Hot Wings. We had that radio show for sure. Those two guys just being gross and weird.
Oh, man.
I'm trying to remember. Fuck.
My closest one was Boston, so I had theirs.
Oh, okay. Oh, God.
WAAF. With Mistress Carrie in the morning.
Can we just circle back on my Boner and the Beast? Because I thought that was pretty good.
It was good. Well, that's what had me laughing.
And that would be... Can we make a podcast called Boner and the Beast?
I don't know what we're going to talk about in that podcast, but it needs to happen, right?
Shit. Okay. Do I talk about Shaco?
I guess.
Okay.
I guess. I don't know.
Okay. Hello, lore heads, and welcome to the League, exploring the League of Legends lore from A to Z. My name is Rebecca.
And I'm John.
My name is Mark.
Today we're talking about the Demon Jester, who isn't a demon, Shaco, who was released October 10th, 2009. Very early.
Very early.
Very early.
Yeah. So I guess, okay, I want to stop us right now, and I want to, let's get the first thing out of the way. Is it Shaco or Shaco?
Shaco.
I always said Shaco, but that's what John said.
Yeah, right. It feels right to me.
It feels right.
Now, I think there are sources in Riot, like Freak, who will tell you Shaco, but those sources
I've heard
are
Shaco,
fucking wrong.
Let me tell you,
Shaco?
there are also sources in Riot that spent an entire fucking world calling Uzi Eye. So let's not fucking listen to how they pronounce shit. We have some psychopaths at Riot.
I think it's more like the creator of the champion would know how it's pronounced, but...
It's Shaku. I don't know.
That would be so fucking funny. It's fucking GIF. We have no idea.
Right?
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay,
I always said
agreement,
Shaco. Anything else sounds weird, but
yeah,
it's just because I'm used to Shaco, maybe.
Yeah, right. Well, was it Shaco like taco was the argument that I heard.
I could see that. Shaco doesn't make sense for how it's spelled, but yeah, I just don't like Shaco.
Like Waco.
Oh, fuck, you're right.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. Take that. All right, I like that.
Checkmate, atheists.
Okay. Oh.
Anyway, I just wanted to...
That was such an old reference, too. All right. Well, on the Riot Universe page, Shaco has a bio. He has some concept art that I highly recommend looking at, for sure. And also, Lulu and Shaco's Quirky Encounter, a song that I always forget exists.
You always forget it? I always remember it from the Frequencies documentary where they're having the violinist, I want to say it is.
Yeah.
And she's trying to hit the tempo. And I don't remember. It's like a really high tempo. I don't know music. It's some whatever. It's very fast. And she's sitting there like, okay, I got it up to like 140 something. Okay, I got it up to like 150 something. And it's in like 160 something. I don't know. Is that right? Does that sound... John, help me.
I don't remember what speed it was written in. I'm so sorry.
Wow.
I just remember like that was something in that documentary was them talking about like, okay, we're trying to get this song recorded between the two. I like the song a lot, actually.
Did they say the name of the song at any point?
I bet you they said Shaco, but we're going to pretend they said Shaco.
Nice.
Okay.
Oh, gosh.
We're not going to fact check.
That's for losers.
Yeah, who needs facts? Not this podcast.
You know what?
We're Americans.
The person who wrote that song, you know what their summoner name is? Preco. So... That's true.
Are you
facts.
bullshitting me?
No, that's
okay.
that's Christian Link's summoner name.
Oh,
there you go. All right, there you go. No, he's got something else on his universe page that you didn't mention. He's got a blurb We don't talk about the blurb a lot because normally it's like just a quick summary of the bio, but his blurb is completely
fucking
different.
buck wild.
Wait, where's the blurb?
It's 100% different.
If you go to the client and look at Shaco, or if you go to leagueoflegends.com and click on Shaco.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, we don't talk about it normally.
Can I just read it out loud with blind?
Sure. Well, I figured we'd do the bio and then we'll do the blurb because I think the blurb is newer.
Yeah.
I'll say.
Okay. I don't really have notes for the bio. Shaco
I have the whole bio written here, so we can just fucking read it.
Shaco is a normal, who knows what?
Non-demon.
Who knows where?
We don't know what he is, but we know he's not a demon.
Some people. I don't want to read the whole bio. I don't think it's worth it, to be honest. But yeah, he kills people. He thinks killing people's very funny. He trollolols every time someone dies. And yeah, people don't really know what this guy is. They do say the most likely scenario is that he's an assassin for hire, which was a buck wild turn of events to me. I had no idea that's where the bio was going to go. I'm like, he's just a fucking guy who dresses like... He's just a man who gets up every day and he's like, I know what I'm wearing, guys. And he puts this on.
I mean, you can hire people other than, normal humans to be assassins.
I guess that's fair. I was thinking he was just a dude. I kind of like that idea
guy.
better, though. He's just a human being.
He puts his clown pants on one leg at a time like anybody else, okay?
Dips his face in that white paint, yeah.
Yeah, and it was another classic, some say, others say, in this bio.
Mm-hmm. I love the bit where it talks about how he eludes the authorities. Like, I imagine, like, Caitlyn going around trying to catch Shaco, right?
Right.
She would say Shaco.
It's weird.
Shaco.
She would. And that's how you know it's wrong. Caitlyn would say it like that.
Oh, my God. So mean.
This is too prim and proper for us. We're the everyday folk. We shake while they shock.
Tomato,
That's my favorite. I mean, look, we haven't mentioned the Heimerdinger system in a while, but this shit is 199 words. It's one word away from the big 200, right? It's 2.49 Heimers. It's nothing. Right?
And yet still twice as much as Heimerdinger gets.
Although Heimer had a short story.
This is
literally all the lore we have for him.
This bio is very padded. It's like when you're trying to fill out those last couple pages of your report.
And they couldn't hit the 200 word count.
Right.
No.
They were so close.
Stopped one short.
Sorry, that's going to be a B-. Did not hit the mandatory
somewhere.
word count.
My summer vacation with Shaco. Yeah. Well, when you look at the old version of this bio, it's a lot of the same stuff, but some of the sentences are just moved around, and then there's like one or two things they added.
What did they add?
What did they add? They added like a mention of Runeterra, because otherwise it's just talking about Valoran, and that's how you know you're in really old lore, is when Valoran is the world, right?
Although, interesting thing, I looked at the very original version, and the very original version looks very much like the version we have right now. Very little changed. But like the second or third version actually adds a whole section to the bottom.
Really? I've only found two. I need to find where you're finding the old lore, because I've only found this current one and then the one which is like the more trimmed down version of this. So
the old lore, the old one, it was like version 3 or some shit like that. Okay. The added bit at the end is, whatever the truth of his history might be, Shaco has joined the League of Legends for reasons only he knows. He's a terrifying figure, typically shunned by both his fellow champions and the media at large. Only the summoners in the Institute of War know why such a creature was allowed into the League, but most Runeterrans suspect it be a means that allow the powerful to keep an eye on the ever-elusive Shaco. Unsurprisingly, this champion is popular in places where madness can openly reign, such as among the power-hungry summoners of Zon and Noxus.
Okay. I was curious that I couldn't find a version of him, and then he joined the League. So there you go, right? I guess that's answered. Huh. Interesting.
Yeah. So now that we've covered a little bit of. Well, I guess if we're going to talk about the blurb, it's important that we talk about the potential, what people believe, basically. So, a popular belief is that he's not of Runeterra. He's a thing from a dark and twisted world. Others believe he's the demonic manifestation of humanity's dark urges, and therefore cannot be reasoned with. And then we've got the most plausible one, which is that he's an assassin. So we got those 3 reasons out of the way before we hop into...
Him just being an assassin reminds me so much of my favorite Skyrim companion, Cicero. For any fans of Cicero out there. He's very Cicero. No one? He even kind of sound... They even sound similar.
It's because if you make anyone a Joker, they need to sound like the Joker.
They sound like a knockoff Mark Hamill Joker impression. Like, I don't know. Can I say also, before we do the blurb, what I love about the bio is that all the text is left justified for some reason. Because someone literally just copy-pasted this from something to the universe page and didn't even think to, like, retain the formatting of the target location.
I noticed that.
It's the little things, right? You know? Okay, the blurb, right? We're talking about the blurb?
All right, do I get to read it?
You get to read it, and
sure.
How do I get to it on
to LeagueOfLegends.com?
No, I've gotten to LeagueOfLegends.com. Fuck you.
There should be a little drop down next to Riot Games. Oh yeah, Champions. And then go down to Shaco.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
He'll look like a Demon Jester.
Shut the fuck.
Don't be fooled. He's not. But he'll look like one.
Now, you're going to want to click on Shen. Don't do that. It's going to be the one right before.
I absolutely don't want to click on Shen, but thank you.
Yeah.
The Demon Jester, Shaco, crafted long ago as a plaything for a lonely prince. Viego? Was he Viego's Gwen?
Right. The original Gwen.
Oh my god. Right? No, first of all, love that. I don't want to tie anything into Viego ever again, but if that were it, that would be fucking hilarious.
Can I get like a gold star from when we talked about what we would do with Shaco in the Q and A episode? And I said something kind of like that.
Really?
That he should be the... Yeah, go back. Go check the tape. I think I said some shit like that.
I know I'm not doubting you. I just don't remember. That's fantastic. You're a genius.
Oh, I love it.
The enchanted marionette Shaco now delights in murder and mayhem. Corrupted by dark magic and the loss of his beloved charge, the once kind puppet finds pleasure only in the misery of the poor souls he torments. He uses toys and simple tricks to deadly effect, finding the result of his bloody games hilarious. And for those who hear a dark chuckle in the dead of night, the Demon Jester may have marked them as his next plaything. I like that. It's a
way better.
It's like a dark Toy Story, right? Like this is what would happen to Woody.
Yeah.
Vandy gave up on him.
Yeah, right. I'm telling you.
Interesting. I hope, is this like the new thing? Because this is newer, yeah? This is his 10th version of his bio?
It's not the old, yeah. It must be.
It's in client.
I didn't
Nothing
see
in client is outdated, so.
It makes more sense than he's something from somewhere, which is what the bio has.
Right. At least they answered a question, you know?
Yeah.
They weren't cowards. They took a stance.
They didn't leave them as a big to-do post-it note just on the universe page. Yeah. Thanks, right.
I was telling Mark about this, by the way. I was like reminding you, but like I started at Riot in 2011. You probably started also 2011 later that year, right? Or was it early 2012? Right. I think it was 2011, but somewhere around there. When Mark started, a dude on the tech team with us was working on the Shaco rework. That one that hasn't been released yet. But that's been in progress since 2011.
I wouldn't say that's been in progress since 2011.
I would not be surprised. I feel like every year we were there, we're like, oh, it's canceled, but they're bringing someone else in to take care of it, and it just changed hands so many times.
What do they want to do to him?
I don't fucking know.
Well, that was a question I was going to raise. Is like, can you even rework Shaco, right? Because it's like, he's so weird. The people who play him are such a different breed.
Right.
Of like,
truly.
Mad person. Right?
Yeah.
Like, what would Pink Ward do if Shaco was changed?
I guess it's just like, is there a need to change him? And I say this as someone who does not like playing against Shaco. Like, I don't know. I feel like he's viable and has been on and off for a while, which is more than you can say about a number of champions.
I think it's like, I don't know what his play rates are, but I imagine they're pretty low.
That's fair. I think he's difficult to play properly.
Right.
Yeah,
Like,
to utilize what he's got.
Singed.
If you're like at the top tier of play, like even Pink Ward I think is unarguably like one of the best Shaco players.
Yeah, sure.
You need to play at his level for him to start being a viable champion.
Well, I don't know. I mean, like, I'm not his level, and I've definitely played against people who are good at Shaco. Like, not Pink Ward level, but they beat my ass.
Sure. It's just, he's so... Well, that's why I was saying he's like singed, is that he's so weird in his play style. He's so far out of the norm.
Yeah.
It's like... What, like, that's a good point though. Like, why even bother reworking him if like the only people who play him like that and no one else gives a shit? And like, why turn him into like another 3-hit passive? Something or other,
oh my
you know
god,
what I mean?
for real, that would be the first thing they fucking did. Is just have some passive. Wow, when you Shaco with auto attack someone, they're given a day blade and
and then a puppet jumps up their ass. Yeah, it's like, you know. Yeah, there's a middle ground.
You have so many champions, you can have the odd one out. I feel like it's fine.
Yeah. There's some middle ground, right? Between like, there's got to be some version of him that's better, but is maybe a little more modern in its stylings. I don't know. I don't play Shaco, so fucking ignore me.
I hate to pull us back, guys.
Oh.
I don't know what Shaco sounds like.
Oh my god, you're
fuck.
right. We dove way too fast into it.
I think we were just champing at the bit.
I'll do the quote that I hear the most.
Okay.
The joke's on you! Because I ban him all the time.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. How about a magic trick?
Ooh, nice.
Now you see me. Now you don't.
Ooh, that's good.
Oh yeah.
Good.
All right. Well, that's what Shaco sounds like. You're
Right,
welcome.
Shaco.
I think we fucking nailed it. Yeah.
I don't know.
It was like there were two Shaco ults running around because there's one of us is the real one.
Who knows which is which?
I fucking sure don't. Even if he's on my goddamn team, I don't know which one is which. I will tell you, a life-changing thing was the day I found out, way too late, that you do more damage to the Shaco clone. What a game changer.
But you still, it's one of those things where it's like you can tell there's some part of your brain that's like, that's the Shaco clone, but then the lizard part of your brain is like,
Kill,
but
kill
I want to fucking kill it.
Yeah. I know he's standing right next to my 200 health Ash, but
That's her problem.
it's her fucking problem. She shouldn't be there.
Clone's still worth gold. Gotta farm.
And then all those boxes.
And then the boxes? Yeah. Right.
It's a veritable gold mine.
Oh, man.
So yeah, I don't know.
So that's
Said it for
canon
this-
Shaco.
18 minutes in, and we bullshitted a lot.
Right?
Now, luckily for y'all, there's a lot of old Shaco lore.
All right, I'm excited.
I think you used the word luckily kind of liberally there, but you know, whatever.
I'm less excited.
So he shows up in a lot of Journal of Justice articles.
That's wild.
There's a whole arc specifically around him.
Every time we talk about the Journal of Justice and some goofy shit that's going on there, I just think about the fact that they had an arc where a man set himself on fire to end a war.
Yeah.
And it's like mixed in that. Also, Jana's nudes and Shaco's there too.
You know, how appropriate that you mentioned that, because, well, not the Lee Sin thing, the Janet thing, because Shaco shows up, the start of this arc's in that episode, right? Or that article, right? That edition, whatever the hell it is.
Did Shaco like have a copy? Was he eyeballing
No,
him?
he would never.
He
It
didn't
was
hang him
actually
with
Shaco's
longer?
nudes.
They were Shaco the whole time
He's just doing the worm,
with his worm.
right? Yeah. No, but it is the same author, right? Ram Steed.
Ram
is
Steed,
our
our
author's name.
And if
I
anything,
still don't forgive you, Ram.
I was gonna say, if anything,
You'll love
Shaco got
this.
some sweet revenge. Yeah.
Oh.
All right, so let's get into it.
Yeah, sure.
So issue 12 is the first time he kicks in, and this was, I think it started just as a letter. It wasn't technically, I think, part of the mailbag of justice, but it was started from a mail
Yeah, I was thinking douchebag of justice, right? Because it's
Right?
Yeah.
It's just all
Male-
letters to Ramsteed.
The MLA bag of justice.
Ooh, yeah. There's a lot of ways you can go with it. It's fun.
Now, someone wrote in and said, being my idol and role model, the elusive jester Shaco and his life interest me greatly. Could it be possible for you to find him and ask him for an interview? I'm dying to hear from him. He must have times where he feels like sharing his adventures with someone. Shaco, you're my hero. And then Ramsteed was just like, dying to hear from him. I certainly hope that's a pun. More to the point, I hope that Shaco doesn't read that. He can be so literal sometimes. Well, brother Stimrog, which was the dude's name, you have spoken, and all the reporters will deliver. For the next issue, I, Ramsteed, will brave the very depths of insanity, the darkest places of the League of Legends, to get you an exclusive interview with the mysterious and deadly Shaco, the world's first fully functioning homicidal maniac. Direct pull from the bio, for the record. This may be one of the bravest things I have ever done, for the very idea chills me to the bone. But this reporter's a man of the people. Such a sacrifice is something I'm willing to take on without hesitation. So keep your eye here for the next issue for news on the Demon Jester, or my obituary. Hopefully the former. And then issue 13, we get the promised interview. So essentially he found Shaco, and Shaco agreed to give him 10 questions exactly for an interview. No more, no less. So this segment's called 10 Questions with Shaco.
Creative.
Yeah. So where did you come from? And by the way, you're going to hear a lot of quotes here.
I was about to fucking say that, Mark.
Sniped, son.
No, it's okay. I'm glad we went to the same place. The fucking nerds.
Cotton Eye Shaco. Now, if you read his bio, a lot of these lines are going to sound very familiar because they just copy and pasted them from the bio, word for word.
Mm-hmm.
So, where do you come from? I'm not from this world. Your summoners brought me forth from a world of shadows, a place that makes your Runeterra look like a child's birthday party. Isn't that one of the stories? Or perhaps I'm simply an assassin gone wrong, wandering Runeterra and perpetrating my killing joke on those who are most assured to get the punchline. That's another exciting tale of my origins. For the record, this will also not be the first actual Joker reference made in his lore.
They had one idea, man.
Yeah.
And they even capitalized killing joke in case
really?
they thought maybe you weren't going to catch it.
Thanks.
So
Thank you, Riot.
capitalized it.
God bless you,
Yeah,
Riot.
I didn't catch it.
That is a Joker comic.
Yeah, I figured.
There are those who believe you to be the manifestation of humanity's dark urges. It's another one of the lines pulled directly from the bio. In the Runeterra of today, that's not out of the question. What do you have to say to that? Would you like me to be? Would that make you feel better about the part of you that thrills at the lives I end? Like a magician, I never reveal my secrets. So could you tell us what your childhood was like? I'm still a child. On the inside. Can't you tell? I love to play. Your name is an anagram of chaos. Is that intentional? A Shaco by any other name would still spill blood. Intentional or not, it fits, no?
I had no fucking idea about that.
I think that's why it's
They love their
Shaco.
anagrams.
You don't say chaos, you say chaos. Unless you're feeling really like, oh my God.
Like fucking Caitlyn.
Fucking chaos.
So it's chaos. It's like chaotic.
Stop it.
Fuck off. Anyway, sorry.
There are some people who regard you as a role model. What do you think of that? I don't like competition.
Wait, what?
I have no idea what he means by that.
Does he not know what a role model is?
Well, you know, it's like how, remember how with Set there was that guy who was a good fighter and then ended up kind of wanting to take the thing. It's the same thing, right? Understudy eventually wants to be the lead. I don't fucking know.
You seem to have developed the following with the ladies. How has that changed your life? I'm an equal opportunity killer. You could say I go both ways.
Get it? Like sex.
You definitely have your own finely crafted sense of humor. What's your favorite joke these days? What do people and books have in common? Wherever they're opened, they're read.
That's pretty good.
I was thinking
good.
that too.
Yeah.
It was pretty
Yeah,
good,
yeah.
especially to think of on the dome. Yeah, which I bet he did.
Well, I
He's-
don't think the writer.
You don't think he's got little like cue cards? So he's like,
He wrote him on his on
Writes
the
on
side of his
his
arm.
just smudged a little bit.
Wherever they're open, they're bed.
bed.
Oh wait, hang on.
Jerry, get me another cue card. Your enigmatic nature is part of your appeal for many people. However, do you have one great adventure you could share? This is kind of long, so I'm not going to do the voice for this. But basically, there was a fancy noble in a city-state of Noxus. He was a wretched man who had done all sorts of bad things. But he was an indulgent husband and father. He was someone who would appreciate the punchline, so it was obvious that he needed my killing joke. Again, capitalized. First, I tickled his wife's funny bone. She split open with laughter. Then I took his oldest son for a romp on the merry-go-round. He loved it so much he never wanted to leave. Then I delivered Jack-in-the-Boxes as presents to his youngest daughter and infant son. Pop went the Shaco, fondly finding his way deep into their hearts. The noble himself? No joy for him. However, certainly did get the punchline.
this bit made me think that like Shaco is sort of like the Neolithic version of Jin. He's like the caveman ancestor of Jin, right? You see,
Shaco walked so Jin could count to 4.
kinda, yeah, you know.
Yeah, I like that. Let's see. What happened to him? He tried to play on a rope swing using his own neck. Two left.
This is very
Better make him
dark.
good. I know, it's very...
He just killed a baby.
Yeah, he did.
Look, Shaco's fucking hardcore, man. Okay, he's got like his MySpace page. You don't even want to get into it.
What's the song that plays when you go to Shaco's MySpace page?
Ooh, it's not going to be some normie shit like what's it going to be? I don't know. I don't listen to fucking hardcore cool ass. It's going to be
a
Avenged Sevenfold, maybe.
I could see that.
Slipknot. Or are you thinking something a little more? I don't know. What are you feeling?
I was thinking of like that clown trumpet song from that Spanish movie.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that
I can't do it. But that song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
sure. Okay.
No, nobody knows it.
I know. No, maybe it's no. I
John,
have
you
no
said
idea.
that like you knew what I was talking about.
No, I did. I've seen it.
Oh, okay.
Well, I haven't. I don't know
Thank
what the
you.
fuck
I-
y'all are
it's
talking
phenomenal.
about.
I can't remember the song, though,
it's
so
like
your impression was great.
Ballad de la trumpet. Something. Please stop.
Ballad de la la trumpet.
Cut that. Shut up.
Okay. Well, you
All right. Ballada de la trompeta.
Okay.
Oh, you
want to play a little
pretty
snippet?
close.
Oh, sure.
Whatever the legally allowable.
That's an ad.
This sounds different than you hummed it. This is unrecognizable.
You gotta get to the good part, though.
I was gonna say that bit sounded like. Oh.
We gotta get to the part that I sang. Though.
Great. I'm loving this.
It's not too long. It's not. I know where it is.
I'll find it. Shut the fuck up. I'll find it.
I got it. And then it goes really hard. It's a dope song.
Who's that by?
Don't Make me try to say it.
Let me look. I feel like
It's from like a show or
I've
something.
heard that.
Right?
I've heard that singer before.
It's pretty old, honey. All right, hang on. We have so much to talk about.
I know. This is what happens when Shaco is the champion, as we do this shit.
Oh, well, you look that up.
It's old. It's from like an old show. I honestly only know it because of the Killing Clown movie,
Yeah.
the Spanish one. What was it called? The Night, like not the Night Circus. That's a young adult novel. The Killing Circus, something like that. I don't know. Anyway,
I don't know. Anyway, moving on.
moving on.
Shaco,
I
2
know
left.
that's
Better make them good. The legal gray areas that summon the League of Legends. They're the summoners. Jesus Christ. The legal gray areas that surround the League of Legends have given you the ability to function openly and even become a celebrity. However, you are wanted for murder by the authorities in nearly every city-state in Valorant. How do you reconcile the two seemingly at odds lifestyles?
The Last Circus.
A menace
Sorry.
grows in Shaco's eyes. I don't like the authorities, and I don't think I like that question. Okay, moving on. Last question then. There are claims that a high-ranking member of the League has established a relationship with you, and that you've been seen together on a number of occasions. Can you confirm or deny this? And then Shaco stands up slowly with stiletto in hand, and you're not going to believe what he says. Why so serious? And then...
I think
Yeah.
the Killing Joke references were like more subtle, kind of fun, right? But no.
They
Well, you
got to
don't like
hammer
it.
it home, you know?
You don't like a direct, completely like missing all of the context, like just rip some famous line.
It literally makes no sense in the context there. You're right. It was like, it was bothering me so much, and that is a huge reason why.
Yeah.
That, what?
Yeah, it wasn't great. But luckily, Ramsteed was found 2 blocks from where he conducted this interview. He had been stabbed multiple times, the stiletto sticking out of his chest with a note that read, "An eye inside Ramsteed." He was immediately rushed to the nearest healer, given the severity of his wounds. He has not yet regained consciousness, and indeed may not. Our thoughts are with him. We will keep you apprised of his condition. In the meantime, please send any well wishes to the usual place, and we'll make sure that he receives them.
I will not.
Then issue 14, we basically just find out that he survived the attack.
Thank God. It was the Jananutes. He just stared at them.
Quick, get him
They
more.
brought him back.
Nurse.
Flash him.
A colleague? Nurse? Yeah.
Issue 15,
Oh, God.
Ramsteed is unconscious still from the injury suffered at the hands of the Demon Jester, Shaco. But let's see. I'll skip a bunch of this because a bunch of this is Ramsteed stuff. So we have a bunch of well wishes from people.
The name Ramsteed. Sorry. Wasn't
What, you
bothering
got
me
a
until
problem?
now. It's giving me Zap Rousdower vibes.
So awesome.
Right, it's too intimidating.
The full denim trucker. No.
Speedy recovery, Steed. I wish you all the best. Oh, and I hope you don't believe that a voluntary interview with Shaco qualifies for our wager about who would be shanked first. That Shaco's barmier than a sailor in love with a sea cow. Best from all your mates down in Bilgewater.
Who was that from?
Morgan Rackham. Yeah.
I thought that was supposed to be a champion impression. I was like, I couldn't figure out who it
Oh,
was.
no. A lot of these are just random reporters from different areas.
Some
Cool.
of them are summoners because at least one person
Yeah.
is Gundam Wing who's sending him well wishes.
Yes.
So
And yeah, it's kind of a mix. Let's see. Bob Nashahago says, I think the universe has a way of setting itself right. Ram's interview is the perfect example of that. He wasn't a big fan of Ram. It seems like in your interview with Shaco, instead of asking 10 questions, you asked 11. Maybe that's why he stabbed you.
Ooh, maybe. Chico didn't do a very good job. He's like a professional killer.
Right.
Kills everybody. No prob Bob, but not Ramsteed, I
They
guess.
call him
Ramsteed.
No Prob Bob. Ramsteed, Ramsteed, Ramsteed. Such a pity you may have missed the punchline, but fair chance, I say, since chance you played. For did you merely expect adjudicator of death to give you anything less than what you should expect? That's the one by Gundam Wing, cosplaying as Shaco.
Fuck yeah. My man.
And let's see. If you survive after your interview with Shaco, you should send him a letter to thank him for stabbing you nearly to death. Everyone knows the ladies dig scars. It's by Daddy G.
Of course it is.
I liked one of these because it was like, Shaco is bad. Why does anyone summon him? Anyone who summons Shaco should be banished from Runeterra, and I kind of agree.
Right?
Yeah.
Let's see. So, issue 16, Ramsteed is recovered. And he had one of those, like, see the light experiences where he reevaluated his life, but then he just decided to double down on what he was already doing. So, no lessons learned. Issue 20, Ramsteed does 10 questions again, but with Brand, and mentions that Brand is just as dangerous as Shaco. So now he's protected himself with a Negatron cage.
Oh, okay.
I don't have that 10 questions ready, but yeah.
Like a Negatron cloak, like the item in
Yeah.
League of Legends. Yeah.
Oh my god. Does this have something to do with League of Legends?
Sort of.
Or Gundam? I thought it was like a Gundam Wing thing.
Ooh.
See, at least like in the Yordle cinematic, they had the good grace to call it runic steel that stops the magic.
Mm.
But this is old lore, so we can't have any expectations like that. Then we have issue 21. There's a mailbag of justice.
I haven't heard that in so long. That was beautiful.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Someone's just curious how unaffiliated champions fight within the league, because, like, obviously Katarina's going to fight for Noxus, Garen's going to fight for Demacia, but, like, what about Vagar, who just wants to bring every city-state to their knees? Like, how the fuck do they determine who they fight for? Or, like, Fiddlestick, Shaco, or Mordekaiser? Are they just sold to the highest bidder? Or is there some sort of draft that happens, which I think was alluding to what actually happens.
Oh.
And they were just like, League holds regular matches too. They're not all political. So, if it is political, no one has to fight against their country. But if it's not, they can just do whatever they want. And if it is political and they want to hire Shaco, yeah, they can hire Shaco.
Cool.
So, yes, killer for hire.
I suppose, yeah. I guess we'll count that.
And then finally, issue 31, we find out Ramsteed knew. So this issue 31 is like when the Journal of Justice is going down. This is after the whole lid's been blown open on the big conspiracy that the Journal of Justice was covering up this whole time about Kalamanda and Demacia and Noxus and Swain. Ramsteed knew the whole time.
The whole time.
But he was blackmailed into silence. But now that the Journal of Justice is going down, he wants us to know that the management at that paper were snakes. And then he also mentions his run-in with Shaco, which he mentions basically most of his articles from that point on. He makes a point of looping in the interview with Shaco, being like, as I did with my interview with Shaco, and, as is seen by my dedication by interviewing Shaco. But yeah, he does that. He does that a lot. But that's the Journal of Justice.
I like your quote section there, John.
Thanks. I've got one quote. In case you didn't know, the quote, "Why so serious?" references the Joker from The Dark Knight. So,
thank you.
Does the how about a magic trick also reference the pencil scene?
It might. It might.
It's a very. The thing is, that's a really common phrase to just use broadly.
Yeah, I don't think.
So.
Yeah.
But
like that shit's not on a poster.
Potential.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool though.
Can I have a cookie?
You may.
You can just hand me the cookie. I don't need the plate. No.
I wanted to serve it like.
Here you go.
Just
Marge.
mush it into the.
Eat your cookie. Now, he's part of several AUs.
Oh, let me get him out.
Now, first up, we're going to cover Legacy. Treasures from days long past, glimmering just within reach. Now, this has 3 skins that are part of this. We've got Asylum Shaco, Royal Shaco, and Workshop Shaco. And fun fact, only Master Yi has more skins in this AU, with absolutely no lore than Shaco.
Nice. Impressive.
Yeah. But in terms of...
His skins look so similar, so many of them.
A lot of them really do.
These old ones, yeah.
Yeah, the old
Especially
ones.
the Legacy ones. Mm-hmm. Then we've got Storybook. Once upon a time, there was a group of storybook characters brought to life from the page. This one's Mad Hatter Shaco. It's always tea time, said Shaco, cleaning his knife. You can't drink tea without a nice clean knife. No one else responded, of course, because they were dead, which Shaco much preferred.
What
He's
a vibe.
the Mad Hatter in this one,
Oh,
if you didn't
okay,
get it by
okay.
his name.
Okay.
And he's actually in another storybook. The storybook is separated into a couple different branches, and he's in another one with Wildcard Shaco. And this one is the high stakes part of storybook. Once there were 5, a strange group indeed, that made up the court of high stakes. They bickered and fought, had luck and had not. To this day, no one yet knows their fate. And this one's Wildcard Shaco. Last is the Jester, the wiliest sort, obscured and forgotten by time, yet always much nearer than one might expect, stalking closely behind. It's a poem.
Yeah, it rhymes.
Now I've got Wonders of the World. Individuals hailing from the far-flung universe of Earth, where giant statues come to life and everyone's wearing a fun hat. It's a lot like Runeterra if you think about it. This one is Masked Shaco. A practitioner of masked dance drama, many of Shaco's performances begin as social commentary on the plight of the working class, and end with a random audience member being stabbed in the spine. It's a show worth seeing if you don't think about the last part. Fun fact, this one was released in celebration of the first anniversary of Korea server's launch.
Oh.
All right, next up we got Event Horizon, and he's part of Darkstar.
I don't think I've ever seen this.
Entro-
No, I have. Sorry.
Entropy engulfs galaxies in the yawning maw of the Darkstar, whose corruptants, titanic creatures of black hole oblivion, snuff out the light of existence in every system they touch and plunge them into nothingness. This one's Darkstar Shaco. Shaco was once a region of space known for raucous celebration, wiped clean by the Darkstar and reborn into the mocking visage of a jester. His twisted cackling reaches inhabited systems long before he does, provoking visions of destruction and societal breakdowns that will soon feed his endless hunger.
Cool.
It's badass.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I'd watch that movie. It'd be a way cooler version of the Silver Surfer.
Could it get worse?
Next up, we got Arcanists. Right outside the academy doors is a world filled with magic and danger. The professors caution the young wizards and witches to stay within the safety of the school grounds, grow their power, and study well. But where's the fun in that when adventure awaits just beyond the bend? This one's Arcanist Shaco. Vile warlock and wanted criminal, Shaco is a dangerous creature whose mind was shattered during experimental soul duplication rituals. At some point, he came into possession of a rare and powerful book of spells, amplifying the threat of his monstrous arcane sorcery. And this one has a cinematic in it called The Unlikely Companion. This one's mostly a Zoe and Kog'Maw cinematic. They're just kind of traveling together to defeat the Dark Sorcerer, who is Shaco.
Oh, I thought you were asking, who is Shaco?
Who is Shaco? Who is Shaco, and why so serious?
Yeah.
Now we've got Crime City Nightmare. Eldritch horrors lurk within the crime and grime of Valoran City. Black markets have given rise to elixirs, a valuable substance of dubious origin, whose production spells money and influence should any gang corner the market, spurred on by agents of corruption. Cops and cronies alike look to forces beyond the veil for a taste of true power. This one's Crime City Nightmare Shaco. Once a mere courier for the Twitch Syndicate, Shaco is now barely human. The eldritch corruption has stripped him of reason and identity, turning him into a chittering horde of knife-wielding monsters that haunt the boroughs of Valoran City. None of them are sure which is the real Shaco anymore. None of them care.
I think it's the first one that actually, utilized the Eldritch.
This is the first one we've talked about yet that has any sort of Eldritch shit in it.
Yeah. Otherwise, they're like, oh, Eldritch horrors around every corner. Misfortune gambles.
Look at Zyra's dress.
Yeah. All right, well, Zyra is probably going to be part of the Eldritch horror.
We'll see. Next up, we have Tales of Borealis. When the air grows crisp and the first snow falls, look to the sky, for Polaris will appear. Do not be afraid, for if you've been virtuous without expectation, you might be rewarded with the Aurora's blessings. But remember, no matter how you act, you cannot take your fortunes for granted, because Polaris comes every year, and no one escapes punishment. Takes a turn at the end.
Yeah.
This is Winter-Blessed Shaco. The automaton Shaco felt nothing towards the quarreling leaders until Polaris snapped her fingers and ordered her gifts to corner the trio. Winter is cruel, she boomed, and warmth is meant to be shared. Let this punishment serve as a warning. In a flurry of snow, Polaris disappeared, leaving the automaton and beast to dispense her judgment.
Okay. Cool.
And then finally we've got Snowdown Showdown. Better start building that snow fort. And this one's Nutcracko.
So dumb.
A terrifying, evil nutcracker from an unknown time and place. Nutcracko's nightmarish appearance and dagger-hurling boxes of death are a curse on Snowdown festivities. He wishes to eliminate all Santas, ushering in a new age of stale fruitcake and creepy wooden toys.
Kill all Santas. All of them. Okay.
Now, the thing I like about Shaco's AUs, because we kind of talk about a lot, sometimes you get a champion who has such a strong narrative thrust that when you put them in an AU, they're like, okay, it's this, but with fire. Or it's this, but now in Spirit Blossom. Since Shaco has fucking nothing, every AU is kind of like its own thing. This one, he's like an automaton who works as an enforcer for their version of Santa. The other one, he was a crime boss courier who split into multiple pieces.
I guess it's like he likes killing people and all of them.
Yeah, it's
Sure.
his one thing, and you can do whatever you want with that shit.
Lots
it's
of
great.
people like killing people. There are dozens of us.
Us?
Yeah, that's a good point, though. That's a really good point, honestly. I guess, in some ways it's a blessing that he has no lore.
I got a handful of fun facts here.
Let's do it.
Shaco's voiced by Adam Harrington, who also does pre-work Karthus, Cassidon, Mordekaiser, and pre-fourth rework Rise.
Oh, God.
Great. They brought him back at one point. Just like, hey, Adam, we got one more. One more for you.
Surely we won't change. This is the final time we're redoing Rise. We promise. We talked about this a little bit, but while his title is the Demon Jester, Shaco is not a demon.
Could I say, so we go and look at this, and I go and look at the wiki, and I scroll down through all the stories, and there's a little trivia, and it's got like various things, fun facts, you might say. And it was such it just was like the whole thing was like just that one thing. He's not actually a demon. I was like, great, perfect,
Neat.
that's Shaco, everybody.
Not a demon.
Shaco, baby. That should be what all his AUs are about. Just people mentioning how he's not a demon.
Sure.
Now, Shaco's one of the few champions to have multiple textures in one skin. So when he uses Hallucinate, his clone will be a different color palette, which can only be seen by Shaco and his allies. The opposing team, the two will look exactly alike.
And maybe just some allies, they also look exactly alike.
And they didn't actually, prior to patch like 5.22, the clones would not have buffs on them. So it made it very easy to tell which one was the fake one. We mentioned this too, but Shaco's dance is the worm. And while obviously inspired by the Joker, many aspects of Shaco's champion design, such as his appearance, laugh, and his manic killer clown persona, are also inspired by Kefka from Final Fantasy VI.
I don't know.
I know who that is. I've not played it. But, like, is that... I mean, have you played it? Is that accurate, do you think?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's definitely... Yeah.
Okay, I'll take your word for it.
He looks more... Yeah. He honestly looks closer to Shaco than Joker looks to Shaco from a visual perspective.
Yeah, I guess that's fair.
You don't get the same type of laugh because obviously that every Super Nintendo, if you've played a Super Nintendo RPG and anyone has ever laughed, you know which laugh he has because they all used the same sound bite. It's like I don't
think I've heard that. That's so
cute. There was a rework concept that turned Shaco into a projectile at one point, but they found that hitting Wind Wall while in that form would remove Shaco from the game.
The one good thing Wind Wall's ever done.
Right. I love that was enough of a blocker that they're like, we can't do it. We cannot fix this.
Figure it out. It's
an absolute
12
blocker.
layers deep in the code. Yeah. We can't do it.
And finally, Shaco's eyes are mistakenly colored purple on his uncentered splash art loading screen because the his loading screen, square, and circle assets. Sorry, those are all the places where they're incorrect.
Okay.
This is a difficult to read sentence.
Okay.
I'm going to start from the top.
Okay.
Shaco's eyes are mistakenly colored purple in his uncentered splash art, his loading screen, his and his square and circle kind of icons in game, and because they're supposed to be blue.
Well, it sounds like a lot of things that they're purple in. Maybe they're supposed to be purple.
Right?
No, definitely supposed to be blue.
Oh, okay.
That's why they call him Baby Blue.
Behind blue eyes.
Great.
Can we get that parody for Shaco? No one knows what it's like
to be the mad clown.
Yeah, there you go. To be the sad clown.
Oh, little Pagliacci in here. I like it.
That's all I got for Shaco.
Cool.
That was Shaco.
And it's, to be fair, 40 minutes more than he deserved.
Ouch. I say get rid of the bio and put whatever is in that little blurb. Just make that his bio. That's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe give him a short story. That'd be fun.
Ooh, a short story would be kind of nice, huh?
I mean,
I forgot about that.
The thing is, whatever you write is going to be that's the new lore. That's the new Shaco lore. So you gotta.
Yeah.
I was gonna say you gotta get it right.
But... You cowards.
Yeah, seriously.
Make a decision with Shaco. Yeah.
Yeah, this was a real dust your bingo cards off episode. You got all the stars
it really
are here.
Was. Yeah. I don't think he came from the first breath of creation, but it was probably close.
But we don't know, so he could have.
He could, yeah. Theoretically,
does he have any six packs in his splash? You thirsting for him in any of them?
No, I'm not thirsting for Shaco at all. It's a real bummer.
Oh, well. Okay.
Put out a sexy Shaco splash in the riot.
That would be great. I would be into that.
Sexy Shaco.
It's like you remember in SpongeBob when he pictures himself being super buff and it's still a SpongeBob head on this super giant buff body. I want that for Shaco. I want his stupid clown head on top of like a big set body that's just like greased up.
I love that. All right. Well, That was Shaco.
That was Shaco.
That was the last image we're going to leave you with when it comes to Shaco. Is his head on a greasy set body.
You're welcome.
Think about that as you're going to sleep tonight. But thank you so much for listening to this agonizingly long episode. We have a Twitter. It's at Loreheads, and a Twitch, twitch.tv/Loreheads. We have a YouTube channel as well. John posts a lot of clips and whatnot, and we've been posting stuff from our streams and things. And a couple weeks out, we'll have a new Valorant video out, which is fucking hilarious. And I'm really excited for everyone
I'm super
to see
excited.
it. It's on a Patreon already. Speaking of, we have a Patreon if you want to see the new Valorant video a little early. So we'll have some bonus episodes, like talking about the Super Mario Brothers movie and whatnot. Classic stuff, and
some
Mechs versus
Tellstone,
Minions,
Mechs versus Minions gameplay.
Sure.
Thank you so much to all of our patrons.
But a very special thank you to our Medarda tier patrons: Big Man Gnomes, Chloe Things, John is a Sexy Egg, King of Hearts, Shupa Moustache, Techno Robert, Trideca, and someone who clearly knew that I would have to read their name out loud on the podcast, the Gooch Slammer. Thank you so much for your generosity. And if you wanted an interview for Shaco, or from Shaco, even knowing the risks, I would do it for you.
Nice. We got the notification for the Gooch Slammer while Mark was here, actually. And I was like, we got a new $50 patron of the Gooch Slammer.
It landed very effectively, I will say.
Yeah, it's good.
I'm liking this trend.
It's just naming yourself weird shit that John has to read out loud,
Yeah.
and then I have to type into the cards that is in every one of our YouTube videos after that. Yeah.
Yes.
I also we have a Twitch. I didn't mention that one. Twitch.tv/Loreheads. We stream Saturdays and Mondays. Okay, I was gonna say we're taking this weekend off, but by the time this episode comes out,
Yeah. We will have just skipped this past weekend, so if you're watching for us, that's why we weren't there.
it's Memorial Day weekend. We're gonna be out of town, but
Out of state.
at state
Out of
even.
mind.
Oh, okay.
Ooh.
Well, please don't be out of your mind. We have to drive.
I'll think about it.
Okay.
You can't contain him.
Yeah, he's gonna be in the backseat with the baby the whole time. So
I'm a lone wolf. Ow!
you're gonna be in the back with someone. I'm the lone wolf in the front. Anyway, please be sure to join us next week. We're going to have a lot to talk about, I think, as we get to read the Zed comic again, even though we're not talking about Zed.
Hey.
To talk about The Eye of the Twilight Shen.
Fourth time's the charm.
Oh my god.